opportunity. Share why you did this. And I want you to speak to your host or your guest, and I want you to reach out to them and be a person. Don't sound like a bot. Don't just copy and paste. I like, for example, the other day um I had a woman I'm losing my train of thought, but I'm not. She was interested in becoming a consultant, and I talked to her about it, and I'm really excited about the new deal coming out today. And she was like, I can't right now. We just put our dog down and everything. I was just like, I was somber and empathetic with her. And I want people to realize that you care, like you care enough more than just to sell something to them, because that's kind of how network marketing is going. It's not network marketing anymore. It's relationship marketing.
Yeah.
And this woman, we chatted about her dog, unfortunately losing her dog for about 15 minutes. And then she comes back, but I would love to host a party. I was like, hey, okay, that's where it all begins. Like, that's fine. And I shared that with all of my girls, and they're like, I think it was kind of like a come moment. Like they knew, like they finally like saw it. Like it was like, I don't just want you to sell this to them. I want you to share this with them and why they need this in their life.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's beautiful. It's all about the connections. Absolutely. So yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, so Marie's got all kinds of Post-its on her background, and you have cows. So there you go.
Yes, this is my farm office. So usually if I'm out doing chores, I will like just shut my video off, but I'll be there. But or I'd even come on video with the cows or the calves. Like people know me for that. But that's also I go live. I do a lot of my lives outside. I do a lot of my thinking outside, and I'm not afraid to show people who I really am.
I think that is wonderful. You're absolutely authentic. I think that, I think people, they want to see that. That's what they're looking for. So you just have an amazing drive, an amazing passion for whatever it is that you do. So I think it's great. You are going to be such an asset. So yeah, pretty soon we're going to have you as a speaker on one of these calls. So we are so glad that you're joining us. Like you're going through a new consultant training, and then you're a director chat now. So
yep. And I just there was one time I did 3 launch parties at once, and then I had to plan another launch party and then another launch party, and I was like, okay, we got a little bit of a break. And then the new consultant kit comes out this morning. So I sent it to all my girls, and I was like, share this in all of your parties with everybody you know, with anybody who ever showed a little spark of interest. And then I get a message back, I got someone. And I was like, here we go again. Let's go.
That is awesome. That is awesome. So you are doing their launch parties. If you're doing their launch parties, so you're running their launch parties, and then are you encouraging them to go out and get their own parties as well at the same time?
Yes. So how it works is I perform their launch parties, and I actually treat them as if they're the host, because I want them to see what I want them to expect from everybody else, and I also want them to jump in on the really key moments of the day. Like I want them to share their why. I want them to go live, and I want them to get comfortable with it. And I want them to record themselves. If they're not comfortable going live, let me see it. If they're more comfortable with it, and then share. So we're teaming up, but I'm also letting them see the true host experience. I want them to like really see what you would want to give head. So then I also push them to get their 3 bookings, and I will help them get a couple too. And it's kind of like everything I did to get started with Jen, with Donna, I'm giving it all to them all at once. And it could be really overwhelming, and I do apologize to them, but none of them sit there and say, I can't do this.
Yeah, that is really great. So somebody said, and it's great that you're having them do multiple parties. I don't remember. I think it was on this call, but somebody had actually said that, if you feel you're going to feel overwhelmed doing one party, why don't you might as well just do 4 and feel overwhelmed. So I'm like, give them all to them. I love it. I think it's great. Yeah. Yeah. How exciting for you. I mean, really. You have so many good things going for you.
Thank you. I'm really excited. My husband's all in too. My husband's like, this keeps showing up. And then the knife block set showed up the other day. I was like, wait for what's coming in the beginning of March. I was like, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, because you probably earned all the new spring products.
I don't remember. I'm just trying to figure out where I'm going to put them all.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm almost thinking I'm almost thinking she did. I don't know if Donna's there, but
Yeah, I can't remember what
yeah,
Donna
well,
said.
you did the 5,000. So I'm gonna say if you did that in this short, you have the new spring products when you promote to director. So
Okay.
yeah,
Oh
you're
yeah,
good to
with the
go
grill. With the grill.
with the
Yes.
grill, the new
I
grill.
can't wait for that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, just you wait. Yeah,
Director
Yeah.
box.
yeah. You don't grill up any of those cows though, do you? Cattle?
No, I actually could never eat any one of my cows, and I'm actually red meat intolerant. So.
Oh wow. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I can eat a little bit here and there, but not.
Yeah. They're just showy cows, right?
Yep. Oh yeah, our cows, they all have names. We have over 200. They all have names. We know their birth date.
Wow.
Everything.
Do you have like little tags on them, or do you know?
Some people get upset because they do, but they do because that's their birth certificate. So they have to take that with them everywhere they go.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Just kind of like here, cow, cow, cow. Like,
Oh yeah. Or like there's a lot of my followers that know my one cow, Kendall, and she's actually a part of my why for why I decided to get into this. And everybody knows her as hashtag the real Ma because her nickname is Ma. She's the Mother Teresa of our farm.
Oh, I love it. Oh my gosh. You are just the best.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
They're our kids. We don't have kids, so they are our kids.
Yeah. That's awesome.
200 of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a lot. Yeah, no. Yeah. Yeah. That's a lot. But they don't talk back. So I guess you're good. You have 200 that don't talk back. So
They talk back. No, they talk back. Trust me, they talk back.
how do they talk back?
They moo loudly.
Oh.
They bellow like if they don't, like they're not happy. I went to college. So Lindsay, I was talking with, I think it was Donna just now. And so she told me where you're from. I went to SUNY Cobleskill.
Oh
I'm
my
from
God.
Saratoga. We used to play you guys in sports. I mean, that was before you were even born.
Right.
So yes, I'm one of those people on this call that could be your mom. But it's one of those things, SUNY Cobleskill. It's an ag tech college for those that don't know. And I went for accounting and my dorm was across from the cow barn. So calving season began in like January for us. So I know all about it. It's a lot. So I applaud you for doing PC and all the cows who do talk back.
Thank you. Yeah, one of my other good friends, she is also a farmer and does Pampered Chef, and she's a teacher and a mother. And I applaud her all the time. And then she texted me this morning and she was like, "You're a director? How are you doing it all?" Lots of lost sleep, but hey, passion and dedication go a long way.
Yeah, that's for sure. My goodness. Hopefully you get enough sleep. Just
Yeah.
although they probably go to bed early, those cows.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
I think Marie's trying to talk.
That was just my question. I think I accidentally posted to people in waiting instead of in the group, but just quickly, Erin is on here who was on last week, and I know she gets her people started with multiple shows. And the question was asked, do you do your consultants for a show? And you said yes. My question was, are you using Facebook Scheduler since you're Post My Party or just doing it? How are you posting their party?
I do my parties a mix between Post My Party and Facebook
You think Abby's
Scheduler.
going to want to go to school?
So I do,
Can she still do part-time
Oh, wait, somebody's talking.
and be on the basketball team,
Oh,
or does
wait,
she have to
hold
be
on.
go
I'm gonna
basketball
mute
team?
everybody. Hold on. Wait.
Because then that's more
Oh,
apt
no.
for getting sick.
Whoever's saying that, mute all. Okay, hold on. Okay. All right. Let me. Okay, if you unmute and continue. Yeah,
okay,
sorry.
no problem. I think I'm good now. I do my parties a mix between Post My Party and Facebook Scheduler. About 70% of it is on Post My Party, and then about 30% of it is done via Facebook Scheduler. I do that to kind of shake up the algorithms in general. I tend to do a lot of videos and video collages, and those I'll do via Facebook Scheduler, and everything else goes through Post My Party.
Okay, there's Erin. Wait, I couldn't find you,
And,
Erin.
and Lindsay, what are you using? New Lindsay.
Oh, she's on mute. asked to unmute.
And then Patty, Chantelle,
Wait, oh, Marie, you are like going in and out. Now you're muted.
oh, I'm sorry, I was unmuted. Anytime you want to get started,
Okay, did you,
can get
okay.
started. So
Did you
I
want-
just wondered from Lindsay, she was starting her own consultants parties too. I was just curious what she.
Okay, did she answer you? No, okay, go ahead, Lindsay.
No, so you mean like the consultants launch parties? Yeah, so yes, I do. I set that up just like I would as they were a host. And I don't know if you were here for when I said I treat them as a consultant and a host. So I'm running my parties, like I approach them and I tell them like, this is what I expect my host to do, because I want you guys to set the bar for your future hosts. So I want them to see everything from what they would see from consultant side, and I want them to see everything from the aspect of a host or hostess as well. And like, I want them to jump on, and I encourage them to do their own videos, and I encourage them to do their own posts, and definitely focus on helping get bookings and stuff. And I kind of want to give them the whole realm of what's to be expected or what's going to happen. So that way we're not, I mean, I don't like to overwhelm everybody, but I also don't want to put anybody on the slow track if that's not what they want. If they want the fast track like myself, I want to be able to do that and share that with them. But they know that if I ever need to slow down or explain something more to them, all they just gotta say is, hold up, we do this different.
Okay. Do you, and I think she was asking if you use like a third-party service, or are you using a scheduler, or what are you doing?
At first I was doing Facebook scheduler, and it was getting a little time consuming, very time consuming, going in and doing that for every individual post. I tried Post My Party, not my favorite. And then I am doing Cinch Share now, and I've been working on Cinch Share for 2 weeks. So it's been a process, trying to master that. And my upline, Jen, she has actually started doing Cinch Share too. So it's been really convenient being able to share stuff back and forth. So if anybody has any pages to add me to or input on Cinch Share, I would gladly take your
You know what,
information.
Lindsay, the SynShare has so much training. You can go on YouTube, you can subscribe to them, go join their Facebook group. There is just a ton of information. And within the SynShare, you know, the, I guess their website, there's tons of, you know, videos that you can view, and they just added so many new features. So
yeah, I'm an affiliate, so I like get to see all that stuff. I like, that's what I'm talking about. Like I see something and I want to know it all.
yeah, they really do. They have some great, training. Yeah. So yeah, good. Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate you sharing. We're looking forward to watching you grow. So for sure. Okay, there's Chantelle.
oh, we have the woman of the hour, and maybe Chantelle, did you see the exciting announcements this morning about the 5 exciting things?
I did.
So,
Yes.
yeah, so maybe we'll just incorporate that right with you starting. And I just want everybody to know, I personally invited Chantelle to join our call today as our spotlight speaker, because Chantelle was #1 in recruiting in the Friday organization in the month of January with 11 new team members. Now, you may recognize Chantelle. She's been part of Founders Award for several years. She's always top in sales. She was an old-fashioned, real cooking show consultant. Mom just had a baby. How old is your little girl now, Chantelle?
She's 13 months now.
13 months. She promoted to executive director during this crazy COVID time and transitioning from a cooking show consultant to a virtual consultant. And I looked at her as somebody who has a lot of valuable tidbits to share with us from so many different ways. And so she asked me, what do you want me to share? And I'm like, anything, how you're recruiting, how you're getting your bookings, how you're doing your business now, how you transitioned. So it is just going to be the Chantelle show. And I am very excited to have you meet her, and I'll let her introduce herself.
Okay, sure. Thank you. And thanks for inviting me. So yeah, I have kind of an outline. So hopefully it's helpful for somebody here. So my name's Chantelle Gossett. I live in Cincinnati, Ohio. I've been doing Pampered Chef. It'll be 16 years next year. We do have a baby, but we have 4 older kids too. So I have 3 boys, 2 girls, 17 all the way down to a 13-month-old. So crazy busy life. I was a cooking show consultant all the way through January of last year. And that's actually, I kind of wrote some of this down too. And then I was due the end of January. So the goal in the beginning of 2020, little did we know what was coming, was to take a month and be virtual. So I spent a lot of 2019 managing a full cooking show schedule and also doing virtual shows so I could learn to be really good at them. And then take a month off for February. And then I was going back to cooking shows in March of last year. I did one and then everything got shut down. So I feel pretty lucky in the sense of how that played out for me, that I'd spent so much time figuring out how to be good at that so I could transition into virtual parties full time. And it was like good timing for that. But I thought I could start with sharing that and then share a little bit about, Marie gave me such a wide variety of things to talk about. I thought recruiting, because that's why she specifically asked me, and then having systems in place to support your goals, which I have big goals, and it was our goal to promote to executive and to keep going, and talk a little bit about some of the systems we've put in place to make that happen. And then I have even a couple of systems for supporting new directors, and then just answer questions. So hopefully that gives everybody a little bit of something. But going back to that, as I was planning, like, okay, my life's going to go through, I have an 11-year-old as my other youngest, and we're adding a baby. So life's going to change a lot for us. And how can I support that? And I listened to all kinds of amazing rock stars in all their trainings with Pampered Chef. And a lot of times I would see these people that, went from this level of business to where I wanted to go. And I would listen to their trainings and think, how are they doing that? Like I'm a really hard worker. When one of the new nationals had said last year, she just sat in a training and thought, well, I work as hard as they do. That was always me. Like I work really hard too. So how are they getting there? And I would listen to their trainings, and consistently they would say, like, have systems in place, have systems in place. So for me, it was creating those systems for new consultant onboarding, and then also systems to support those who wanted to fast track, kind of like Lindsay was saying, all those things she's doing to start them big, start them strong. What does that look like? Because I would hear these trainings that said systems, but there really wasn't necessarily a ton of information of what does that look like. So that's what I figured I'd share today, is like kind of the journey I took to do that. And so I wanted to start off with this kind of analogy, which this is going way back, but when I was a pretty new consultant and wanting to really build my show schedule and make this a full-time job for me, I took a training, and so I have no idea who, this was years and years ago, and somebody said, make as many host packets as you need for your goal. If you've only booked, and I see some heads nodding, if you only have 6 shows booked, don't make that many host packets. If you want 16 shows, make 16 host packets. And I thought, oh, like, that's just so trivial. Like, how would that get you that many more bookings? But I started doing it. And it was funny because, like, I started booking more shows. And I really always would train my team on that. Like, build this to what your goal is, not to what you currently have on your calendar. Because a lot of times if you're building it just to what's on your calendar like that, you almost have that mental block of, oh my gosh, like if I book more, I'm going to have to do all these things. And even though you don't realize that, it holds you back. And so kind of taking that thought process of building a system to recruiting and to new consultant onboarding. So we had a lot of new consultants in January. And through that month, I was working on expanding our system so it can support larger numbers, because I don't want to have a new consultant onboarding system that works for 20 people if my goal is to have 50 new consultants in our org or 100 new consultants in our org? How do I build the system so that it can accommodate that? So that's kind of been my thought process behind some of these systems I'll talk about and share with you, is to build it not to where we're at now, but to those bigger goals that we have. And that's going to look really different for everybody. I had a big deadline. I had a big push to get some of this in place before January 20th, which was when she was born, so that it could run smoothly, through all the transitions we were going to have last year. So the first one we did was really look at our new consultant onboarding. I have always done fairly well, always had a pretty good percentage of consultants that qualify, but how could I take it from that cooking show mentality to a virtual show mentality and get them, kind of like Lindsay was saying, actually a lot of what she was saying, I was nodding my head, to start off on that really fast pace. So I still do a one-on-one call. It used to be over an hour, the first call with my new consultants, and that's my whole personal team that I do that with. Now it's about 20 to 30 minutes, depending on how many questions they have. So I really looked at that and thought, how can I make this better? How can I do more of them? Like an hour call with a new consultant is going to limit you to how many can you squeeze in a week. If you want to add, a lot more consultants, you're going to be limited. So 20 to 30 minutes, you can do double. And I'm still doing that. So that one turned into painting a big picture, talking about fast track on that call. So talking about not just the free products they can earn, but also talking about the fast track cash in that very first call, and then doing their first party. So if that call's on a Wednesday, their first party's the next week. I start them on Mondays. I run them, treat them like a host. They're the consultant and the host, so they get the host rewards. If it's a launch party, if they just hosted with somebody and signed at the end of the party, then they take one of the bookings and we do the same thing. And then their goal that week is to participate in the party as a host, so to do the commenting in the videos and do that, and then also book 4 parties or more for the next week. So that's how we break it down, that they're going to have a full calendar. And all of our training talks about, successful consultants do 4 or more parties a week. It's just as much work to do 1 as it is to do 4. So why not, do more at once? So that's kind of the first system we put in place to do those calls across the board, and then train my directors to do that same call. And then we thought, okay, what holds the people back that aren't starting as fast as the ones who are? And typically it's like fears, concerns, feeling like they don't know what to do next. So we started doing new consultant training. It was on a rotating basis. All last year we ran it. Mondays, they were 30 minutes, and it was 4 topics, and we just rotated it. So, depending on how the months or the weeks fell, typically we got all 4 topics in every month. And so they were just told, the next step after your first party is to make sure you listen to all 4 of these and participate in these calls. They were Zoom, so they were live, they weren't recorded. And the 4 topics we trained on was successful virtual parties. And we did each one in the format of top 10 tips. Like we kind of took it from like the late night shows of like the top 10, So each one was just 10 tips for that topic. So top 10 tips for successful virtual parties, top 10 tips for host coaching, top 10 tips for getting bookings, and then top 10 tips for recruiting. And that was just rotating. I work with other leaders in the company, so we all took turns running these. And that really started our consultants off strong. And it also helped them if they had questions to know, oh, all I have to do is hop on this call. And, we always left like the last 5 minutes of every call for answering questions. So that was our second system, to really give that huge level of support to the new consultants so that they started off strong and then were able to hold it that as strong as they launched. So we ran that all last year. The other thing we put in place is we do weekly look and learns, and we've been doing that for over a year now. We run ours in a group. We have an outline, so we divide up who's in charge of them for, like, we do a quarter at a time typically, and every director takes a turn, but we give them an outline that has like the images, what to say. It's a Facebook group that they run. They post for about 20 minutes with the different topics that we wanted to cover, and then go live at the end and share their story. And so we have enough directors to pull from that will have 1 week somebody shares their story and maybe they're retired. And then 1 week somebody shares their story, maybe they have small kids at home, you know, and we have all these different stories getting shared. And we've worked really hard to train our whole team to invite people weekly to this. So there's a constant funnel of recruit leads going into this group. And we do fun things in there. Sometimes we do giveaways. And so all leads go in there, whether it's the rock star guest from a party, everybody, we train weekly for everybody to invite their host from every week to this event. So, and we give them the words. So right out of the gate, we can have somebody sign up, do a call on a Wednesday and say, okay, now you're going to write down 4 names. Here's what you're going to say. Go ahead and invite them to this group. It's tonight. It starts at 9. And yes, we do reuse the same Facebook group and keep them in there. We used one for, it was probably between 9 and 10 months last year, and it went kind of stale towards the end. So we started a new one this year. And it's still kind of up for debate whether we keep this one going for each quarter or just keep it going longer. It's going to depend on kind of the algorithms and how long that group stays really fresh and people are seeing things. So we do reuse that. And so we do that weekly, and we really train to it too, because it's one thing to have the system in place, but if people aren't participating, you're not going to get the traction that you want. So we really do train to that quite a bit. And then partway through the year, we did add a new consultant welcome call. And the reason I added that was, first of all, a lot of people were doing it and getting good results, but I thought, well, I'm doing all these one-on-one calls. But as we were doing this, we were promoting a lot of directors, promoting a lot of fast track. So some of my systems have now grown to supporting those new directors, like Lindsay's still a new consultant, brand new director, brand new fast track director. How do I support somebody in my organization like that may not have the confidence to run a new consultant one-on-one welcome call the way that we're kind of working on it? So to add that extra level of support. So we do those weekly as well. And I have an outline, and all of our advanced directors and above take turns. So like you're typically in charge once a month or once every 6 weeks. So we run that weekly as well. So we just put a lot of these systems in place. I figured I could answer questions about them. And then as we grew and added more leaders, we do have a mastermind that we run for leaders, and we've been running director bounds monthly as well. So we condensed it into a 4-week thing early last year, and we just run them on repeat every single month. So people get invited to that by being, you know, having consistent sales, having consistent recruiting, and they'll get an invite to that. And that has also supported getting new directors and new fast track directors. So those are the systems I wanted to kind of outline, because I thought, what have I done in the last year that changed my business? And I would say it's really all of that. And just really looking at where do we want to go, and then how do I build a support for all the people in our organization to help them get there. So what kind of questions do you guys have? Or Marie, do you have any questions for me to start off?
Okay, I think she might
My
be.
questions, like, I was just listening and not writing any notes.
Yeah, that's
And what you do each night, what night is new consultant call each week? Your top 10, right? You rotate the 4. And which night is your look and learn?
Yep,
I mean, you
yep.
have things that
So
you do
that
every-
has changed slightly. My team meetings, I do an organization meeting, that's a Zoom. So those are the first Monday of the month. So like tonight is ours. And we wanted to create this so we weren't working all 5 nights a week. Because when as a cooking show consultant, I typically average between 3 to 5 cooking shows a week. So my family was used to me being gone most nights and most weekends. So as part of the transition to virtual, I didn't want my home life to keep looking like that if I was going to be 100% virtual. So all of our mastermind calls, which is for the directors, are on Mondays. All of our team meetings are on Monday. And then the new consultant welcome call is on Wednesday night at 8. And then the Look and Learn is Wednesday night on Facebook at 9. So my family, and I keep saying this to them, mom works Mondays and Wednesdays. You know, somebody's babysitting the baby Mondays and Wednesdays. My husband's been in a big transition. So I'm like, I just need you home Mondays and Wednesdays, if at all possible, so that I can keep those as my work nights. That doesn't mean I never work after any other days, but we really do either daytime hours or the evening calls are on Mondays or Wednesdays. So hopefully that helps with that.
Question about your leaders mastermind. Is that a daytime meeting or an evening meeting?
The mastermind is evening, because we do have directors, like we have promoted so many fast track directors and so many work in the evening. So we did make a shift this year on how we're running our director bound. So it's not as many evenings, but what we did last year is director mastermind started, I think it was at, because we have groups, you know, so half of us are in Central Time, so half of us are in Eastern. So I want to say we did one that started at 8. That was the mastermind. It was the earlier call. And then we rolled into the director bound was at 9, because the people in the mastermind were also every single month looking for those new directors to invite into the director bound. So they really could join the one call, stay on for the second one. And then that's how we're supporting them to support their upcoming leaders. So yes,
That was
can I
on
repeat
Monday?
what we did for the new consultant call? The new consultant calls were daytime calls. So we ran those on Mondays at 2 Eastern all last year. And the 4 topics were virtual party training. So the top 10 tips to be successful as a virtual party consultant. Because when we first started this, we also offered it for all of the organizations to take who had been doing cooking shows too, and then figured why not onboard all the new consultants coming in as, you know, really successful virtual, because we're making that shift. And I got that idea from Love Carpenter. I think she said like about a year ago, you know, I started off with a training that was just, how are you successful at virtual parties? Because that at the time was a shift for her org too. And then the second one was host coaching, because in theory, that's really one of the first things we wanted them to get, right? Like we're going to run their launch party, but we really treat them like a host, but then they need a little bit additional tips and training to like kind of pull it all together. Because sometimes those new consultants, when you're running their first launch party, like they're so much still in that mindset of a customer, like that they're a host, that they need to really transition into, okay, like I'm doing the stuff that you just did in my party for the next parties. So that's the second one. Bookings, because without a constant stream of bookings, they don't have a sturdy business. And then the last one's recruiting, but they, you know, would take all of that within their first month in business, because they would get on each one. And it all supported Dash, right? Like Dash has amazing stuff, but just some of those extra tips and trainings. And this is how our team host coaches, and this is why. I think that this is why part, they don't necessarily get that in Dash the way they would on a Zoom call, where we're saying, these are the top 10 things we want to see you do, and this is why. And that's where we can really feed that, if that makes sense.
Now, I know Linda McGuire is on this call, and she was asking specifically this just a couple days ago in the executive group for how you incorporate Dash to your system and your training. Can you just expound on that just a little bit more? Because I think we all got it in our face about how wonderful the Dash training really is. And now there's a new webinar available for consultants on virtual shows. But how do you incorporate Dash into your training a bit more?
So, and we're revamping this a little bit. I've jumped on Project Broadcast, so I'm putting a lot of these systems into that to help support all of this. So it's kind of these, the other thing I think I had to learn about systems quickly was you're going to build it and you're going to constantly have to like redo it or tweak it or update it. It's kind of, if you think of your virtual parties, and I mean, I tell consultants like a million years ago, when I first kind of dabbled in virtual parties, it was normal to have a 7 to 10 day outline. If anybody remembers that, like that was normal at one point. If you tried to do that now, people would be like, what is this? This is so long. You know, the virtual world moves very rapidly. So these are going to constantly evolve and grow. Don't think you're going to build it and it's like all written in stone and it's cement and you're going to run with it for 5 years, because you're going to constantly have to keep adapting to what's best. But as far as building into Dash, as soon as somebody signs up, they get a message from me that says, oh my gosh, welcome. We add you to the team page. We're so excited. Let's plan a call in the next 24 to 48 hours. What's your schedule like during the day? Because I do only really offer those calls during the day, 99% of the time. And then as soon as we firm up that time slot, I'll message them and say, okay, great. Now, before we talk, the first thing I need you to do is get those first 10 trainings done on Dash, which I know it sounds like a lot, but depending on how fast you go, it'll take you between 20 to 30 minutes to get that done. And so we set that expectation before they've even ever talked to somebody that they're going to use Dash. And then that new consultant onboarding call, the outline of that is we paint that big picture, talk about the fast track rewards, talk about what support is available to them. And one of the supports is all Pampered Chefs training. So it's going to be Dash and how that goes at their pace. Because I've had that first call with one girl who's just promoted to advanced director. Karen did this morning, was official. And like that first call, she's like, I was trying to get all the way through Dash before I talked to you, like to the finish line. And I'm like, hours and hours. I'm like, okay, so for those people, they can go really, really fast. And then some people are going to go slow, but Dash is something you'll always go back to. So we set that expectation in that very first call that they're going to use that. It goes at their pace. And now I'm working to build in on each of these 4 topics that we train on, just kind of like a link that says, and go back to Dash so that, you know, these are the supporting things, because Dash has also changed and improved a lot over the course of the last year. So the resources on there are a lot better and more, they cover more ground, I would say, than they did like a year and a half ago when we started doing this. So. Yeah, the welcome letter, I have my welcome call. I don't do an actual letter, Terry, but I actually typed up my whole welcome call the other day. So I have that in a doc and I can share that. I'll get it to Marie. Yeah, so that's no problem. And then I think Erin asked about the leaders mastermind. So I work with 3 to 4 other executives. Well, we all promoted last year. And so the mastermind is to support directors who want more. So it's our directors who just fast tracked, our directors who want to promote to advanced, and then we have advanced directors who are working on promoting to senior directors. So that's our mastermind. I've gained so much over the years being in probably over a dozen different masterminds and really networking with people. So we've created that culture among all 4 of our organizations where everybody really teams up and learns from each other. So that one, this year we're bringing on a lot of guest speakers. We always have a list of things we want to do. We're working on adding like a book club element to it. But a lot of it has been training the directors how to do these things for their teams, right? Because some of these girls were very new and then they got added to the mastermind. So it's been training them how to onboard their new consultants, you know, how to work with their Fab 5, how to do all of these things consistently. It's giving them that extra level of support. So that's what that is.
Thank you, Chantelle. Other questions for Chantelle?
Marie, I think there was a question about, does she create a new group? This is for the opportunity events that are weekly. Is that right, Chantelle? Do you create a new?
They're weekly, they're every Wednesday. No, we use the same group. We used the same group for like 6 or 8 months last year. We started with a fresh one for 2021 and it's going really strong right now. So we originally said we would do a new one each quarter. But we do have like a lot of things in place now where, you know, just to change out that group, we probably have to spend quite a bit of time changing the links everywhere we post them. So we're like, well, we're just going to keep running with this for as long as that group's getting really good activity every Wednesday, which if there's constantly new people coming in, it gets a lot of activity.
So
Go
can you
ahead.
explain, like, since you have an outline, so the person who is leading the call that week is going live into that group at a certain time, correct?
Yep.
But they're using the same PowerPoint. So is the previous week's PowerPoint still there that people can go back and look at the same information?
Yep. So we don't do it as a PowerPoint. I think originally our outline was in Evernote. I think we've changed it over to Google Doc now. That's the other thing I've learned in the last 6 months is Google Docs. So we give them the outline for those that are new or nervous, and it says like, okay, I think it's numbered, and it says, you know, ask everybody if they were a consultant, would they be more excited about the extra money or the free products? Because those are kind of the top two reasons people join. And use a fun GIF in the group when you post this, so that each week's slightly different. Like, it doesn't look like we're running the same thing over and over. And then we pull pretty heavily from marketing imagery. So it'll say, like, we'll use one of the trip pictures, and then they're supposed to post, if you could travel anywhere for free, where in the world, where would you go? So it's getting comments. It's very similar to a party, if you think about it, like lots and lots of interaction. For the ones that are more confident, they'll bring in their own fresh pictures. Really think of it just like when you're training a new consultant. Some of them, you're going to run that first party with your outline, and they're going to want to use that exact outline again because they're very overwhelmed trying to create their own party. And some are going to be like, no, I have pictures, I want to do my own. So it's the same thing for our look and learn. So it's not identical, but they have that outline. The post should run from 9 Eastern to about 9:25, 9:30 Eastern. Some of them manually post, some of them schedule the post. It doesn't really matter. They're in charge that night to run that group. But we like, it's a culture that we've built, that this is, you know, people are on all the time. And then we also have built the culture, like, with our directors, say there's a week they can't, like it's their daughter's birthday, like go ahead and invite your people, have your team members invite people, and then reach out to our leader group and just say, like, you know, my recruit lead Sarah and Sammy and these 3 girls are going to be on. I can't be on live tonight, but we're all running those events together to make sure the comments get answered. And just we have a really high success rate when we run this. And I tell our team this: you get the people on that night, we have a really high success rate that they're going to sign, because they see this excitement and this support, and then they get to hear somebody's story. And that's a Facebook Live story, so they just go live straight into the group. So really, I mean, I don't know how many people go back and scroll backwards, but all those lives are saved for the whole time, the lifespan of the group. So if you really had a recruit lead and you're like, oh my gosh, her story could be a lot like, you know, this stay-at-home mom who fast-tracked, you could go back and find that and tag your recruit lead, like, you know, you make me think of so-and-so, like, check out her story, because they're all in there.
So the whole idea, I just have a little brain fart is what I call it. You know, maybe next week's topic should be about look and learns, especially with how crazy the wonderful March promotion is. You guys probably already know there's a $39 kit. You probably know that there's something in it for us as a consultant to get an extra $100. And just think, a brand new person in their fast track rewards period, they're getting $200, right? They get all the fast track money plus the current reward thing. And then the new consultants being able to earn the new grill and griddle on top of the quick cooker. Oh my God. I mean, like, so being able to do a look and learn opportunity event, Pampered Chef's already having 2 plugged in for the month, but us maybe revisiting or talking about that. Oh, Corey, you didn't
Andy,
see that there was cash.
No, it's not cash. I think it's PC dollars, isn't it?
Yeah, it's PC. I think it's PC dollars.
It's PC dollars. And then the new if it's a new consultant, they get PC dollars. So it's added on to that, but they also get cash. They get $100 cash if the person qualifies in their first 30 days.
Wow. Wow.
So, I know. So that's a lot. And then,
it is like
then it's
over the
$18.
top.
So it's a little of both.
Pampered Chef's goal is to break our record this month, in the month of March. To really truly have it be March Madness, highest amount in new recruits added to, and maybe the highest amount of new directors added. Like, this could really make a huge difference. So, okay, so somebody just says great information. I don't know, Patty, if they're Chantelle, anything else you want to say about that transition going from, I mean, from a personal, you have my heart. I remember you as the rock person, you know, with your rock and talking about how your kids can make dinner themselves and how you took your cooking show experience and transitioned that into a online experience that still captured you and what you did so well. And I'm also wondering, you said you shortened your show. So I
Yeah.
always want to know, tell me exactly how you do it.
So that's a work in progress because it's constantly changing. So for February, my show had one pre-party day and then was 3 days. So and I'm liking that, and it's a lot less post. I think Steven had done a training about just like what an overall outline would look like. And I really kind of took just that concept and ran with rebuilding my outline. So that's been working for now, but I mean, in 2 months, I could be saying something completely different. And then as far as I really did struggle with transitioning from the cooking shows to virtual. In fact, I was in a mastermind for I think it's 2 or 3 years now. And in that group, I said, like, I'll never be 100% virtual. Like I really truly love the cooking shows. And I'm really good at the in-person part. So getting that virtually, and even though I might be on the like older side of millennials, like I have older kids, I got married really young, like I don't fit into my generation at all. So social media, like just posting all the time and kind of like sharing your life, like that's not where I came from. So it was a big transition for me, but I had to take that heart of the cooking show, which is like, this business is a family business for my whole family. I've done this for my kids. I started when I had a 15-month-old baby and a 6-week-old baby as a cooking show consultant. And then had, up until this last baby, 2 more kids along the way. And so they know nothing other than mom doing this. And I've done it full time, pretty much their whole lives. When I was pregnant, my 13-year-old, at the time he was 13, son went with me for 6 months to every cooking show. And remember, I did 3 to 5 cooking shows a week. So he probably did 150 shows with me. Sold stuff better than I did. I was nervous the first one, showing up at a stranger's house with a teenager, because I knew he could help me, but I was afraid, people might be like, what's she doing bringing this kid in? But they loved it. After that first one, I was like, oh, I don't know if I could ever go back to cooking shows without him. He did all my dishes. He cooked. He talked about the products. He's always said he wants to do this. With me when he's old enough, and he's kind of been my tech guy too. Like, he's been a huge part of my business. So taking that concept and transferring it to virtual, I think, is where I struggled the most. And once I figured out how to do that, and for me, it was using some marketing imagery, but also like almost every post has pictures of my kids using products. And so really showing like I'm a real mom, and kind of like Lindsay said, showing that yourself with real kids that do like 90% of our cooking. And this job has given them the confidence in the kitchen. Like, all of my kids know how to grocery shop. They will have no problem planning meals. They will have no problem cooking. This is a way of life for us. And transferring that into my parties, I think, is when that came together for me. That's when I was really like, oh, I could do this virtually. So yeah. Okay.
Fabulous.
I think you had a couple more questions there.
3 days. Yes, it looks like that's.
And then how many days do you give your host to add her friends? That was in there too.
Typically only one. And that was something I started doing when I transitioned to the virtual, but Facebook has changed. So I'm trying to transition to getting them added on Friday and giving them the weekend to invite. But right now my parties get set up on Monday and they start inviting on Monday. Tuesday's like a pre-party day. So we're still working on invites kind of behind the scenes. And then the party would run Wednesday through Friday, wrap up on Friday. And when I transitioned to that 3-day outline, because somebody asked, do you end on the 3rd day? I basically say like, hey, I turn my phone off most of the weekend, so you can keep working on orders over the weekend. We'll wrap up on Monday. So it allows me to get both things I need out of this, not working all weekend, but giving them those extra days, because some certain hosts do better sending all the reminders out over the weekend than trying to get them all in on Friday. So some hosts will just kind of wrap it up on Friday, and some will take the weekend.
And then how many posts do you do?
Sounds like 7 days to me. Like you're starting it on a Friday, they have the weekend, then you have Monday through Wednesday, but then, you know,
No
Yeah,
post-
I haven't really that's my goal. Like I haven't successfully really gotten them started on Friday. So right now they're starting on Mondays. There's no post at all on Mondays at all. It's just an empty group. Tuesday, there's 3 posts and it's just like you can have free shipping, whatever the guest special is. Like it's there's really no, I don't even check the group that day other than to check the head count. So the actual like where I'm actively kind of checking the group every day and, you know, working the party per se is Wednesday through Friday. And then that's it. So
then
they have more days
Wednesday
to
to
get
Friday.
orders,
Oh, sorry. How many posts from on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday?
6 to 8 a day.
Okay.
So, and whoever said that might help them, I saw it and I don't know where the comment went. When I finally jumped on and kind of did an outline that way, I wish I had done it earlier. And I think some people were training to that when we had a lot of the real-time inventory situation where like products were coming and going, because an outline that has that many less posts, because my old outline was probably closer to 10 to 12 posts a day. So it cut in half, but it's so much easier to just swap out a day and not feel like I need a 10-hour window to work on it. So it's a lot more nimble, I guess, to transit. Like if I need to change something, it doesn't feel so overwhelming. How are you getting all of your new consultants? So running new 4 parties or more a week, and then consistently asking every rock star host and guest. And then we constantly have this stream of people going into the look and learns. And I know that once I get them to the point where they're that interested, there's a really good chance that they're going to sign. And then also just keeping a lead list. Like I think through the craziness of 2020, somewhere in there, I really just started dropping the ball on making sure I always had that like lead list going like you do for bookings, because so much got put on my plate. And so I early this year or the end of last year, heading into 2021, just really went back through and like any host I really liked, any host that we really had talked about it, but maybe they hadn't signed, anyone that stood out to me, recreated that list so that when there's a promotion like this, you know, I probably have 20 plus people that I can already reach out to. And I had quit doing that for a window of time. So that helps too. The inviting process for my host is 3 ways to invite. I think I got this from a call you guys did, honestly. So it was 3 ways to invite, and it's adding people to the group, private messaging 20 to 30, and posting on Facebook. So there's, you know, do those 3 things and then send some reminders the next day. My posts are throughout the day, but there's only 6. So it's like 1 in the morning, 1 to 2 in the afternoon, you know, 1 to 2 in the evening. And yeah, the sales have been pretty good. I mean, my show average, I think, virtually holds steady between 600 to 700, which it could get higher, but I'm happy with it for right now with all the other different programs I'm running. Like, I'm happy with that. My cooking show average, I think, stayed around 800. So it's slightly under that, but sometimes the more parties you do, your average isn't quite as high. Some people have a really high average doing a lot, but sometimes the more you do, it's not quite as high, but you're doing a high volume.
Do you ever go live in your parties? Do you ever go live or do videos or?
I tried live a week. That for me is a disaster. That's the other reason I stuck for a long time to cooking shows, because I could leave the house and really, no matter what was going on here, because we have some kids with problems and a lot of stuff that goes on. So no matter what was going on here, once I left, I could really put on that pampered chef hat and go do a great job at a party and then leave and come back and deal with my life that goes on here. And to transition to it overlapping was the other big fear I had going into the virtual world, because it overlaps now. So I have had periods of time where I can successfully go live consistently, but the way my home life runs, I can't say like I'll be live at noon every Wednesday and ensure that what is going on in the background would be something I could go live during. So what I've done is I do more, I go live either on my personal page because it gets more views then, or I also have kind of I think of it as a library of lives that I did film under my business page. And so they're all public and I can just pull the links from those lives and put them back into my parties. So, I mean, I know this last week, people were asking about rock crops and I was pulling a cake I had done, but I'm like 9 months pregnant. So I'm like, they can obviously tell, you know, it's not a current video, but who cares? It has great information on the rock croc. And I believe there is an app I just heard about last week and I don't know what it's called. So somebody on here might, that you can take your pre-recorded videos and it makes it look like you're live right then, even when you're not. But I don't know the name. I just heard about it and kind of put it on my list of like, oh, I should learn that later because that could really be a solution.
Love that. Maria, you're
muted.
Just opposite. I guess I was not muted the other time. I think that is a fabulous tip. If you guys did not catch that, creating a library of videos on your business page that then you could post into any show. So purposely creating those videos that you're going to be using as content is a very smart system. So thank you.
I do
Somebody
similar
shared
to Chantelle. I was just going to share. Sorry, Maria, I would do something similar where I have a very similar home situation where I can't like consistently go live because who knows what's going to be happening in my house. So I use old lives, but instead of sharing the link, I actually save them. I download them to my computer and I upload them into Canva and I create those lives as part of my posts. So they get mixed into collages with product posts. So they're in part of my like regular posting that I do.
That's an awesome tip too. And they're saying in the chat that one of the apps is OneStream that will do that too. So. Cora, I think it's up to you. When we first started doing it as a Facebook group versus a Zoom, we still had a lot of new consultants signing up that didn't even know what Zoom was. So just getting them on a Zoom call was like a multi-step process of, as far as like download the app, or if you're getting on Zoom from a computer, where now after the pandemic, almost everybody understands what Zoom is. It's not quite such a, you know, a step. So if you're having good success with your Look and Learns being a Zoom, keep doing it. And if you're wanting to change it up, you know, it just depends on what level of interaction you're getting. We did it twice as like a fun year-end thing last year, a Look and Learn bingo, and we do that on Zoom. And we had such a high response from that I think we're going to try to do a monthly at the end of the month. So we do a Look and Learn bingo, and that is a Zoom every month. Well, we've done it once this year, but we'll do it again this month too.
Oh,
I would love to hear about that next week.
me too.
Because we actually, somebody else, Cassie Trulson, said she would like to do an opportunity event as a bingo. She heard about people doing bingos. And so I kind of said, sure. And I have no clue how to do it. So I would love to know more. And maybe we can put that as a
I can share that doc. Like all we do, it's really easy. There's My Free Bingo, which is a website. So they get like a digital card they can print or download. If you have over a certain number of people, you will have to pay for it, but it's reasonable. And then they literally just play bingo. Like we get on, we kind of like chat people up a little bit. And then we'll say, okay, like the first round is, you know, just whatever, straight, diagonal, you know, like whatever. I'd never played bingo before, so I was not the best person to do that. And then after every number is called, we have a did you know? And I just have a document. So it's like, did you know, this month it would be, did you know you can start Paper Chef for $39? And then somebody will call another number and it'll, did you know you can earn a free knife box that as a new consultant? Like it's just everything we could think of. The document I have still has stuff like from Christmas and Paper Chef's 40th anniversary in there, but I can share it. You just would have to update it. And then, so usually the first round we give away like some kind of small prize, like it might be a product, it might be a gift card. It's nothing super big. And then depending on the promotion that month, we may give away a free kit on this. The second round is usually a blackout, so it goes longer. So just depending on what we want to do, a lot of times we'll give away a bigger prize for that second round. And I think we ran one the last Wednesday of February, and I want to say just of my person, like my org, because I team up with other executives, so I don't know what results they got, but I want to say we had 35 people on, which at some consultants, the consultants can't win the prizes, but they can participate just for fun. And I want to say we signed 3 from that event that night,
That's great.
which wasn't bad at all. So
Right? That's excellent.
That is.
Are definitely a rock star, Chantelle.
So- Marie, we can't hear you.
Wait, you can't hear me?
Can you guys hear her?
No.
it's just quiet. It sounds
Very
like the speaker's far away.
Mhm.
Never mind.
No, now we could hear you. We heard never mind.
But
You
no.
heard never mind. No, I still remember your story and you talking about your rock and how you empowered your kids to be able to make dinner. And that stuck with me about how you were a real mom, sharing your real life and providing real solutions to everyday people. And I thought that was part of your magic, besides the number of shows that you did, but the magic of how you included your family. It was a real you. And I just want to say thank you for being willing to come here today and share your tips and thank you. So
Thank you. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, it was
So-
great. Thanks. Really quick, I think Erin said she can show how to video on Ryan Rockstar's page if that works. So she has to dig it up, but that's already created. It's super easy. So she'll share. Thanks, Erin. I don't know. We might have lost her.
No, I'm here. I'm getting ready to log off, but I just have to find the video and I'll upload it. It's really, really easy to do. So I'll find the video.
Thanks. We appreciate it. Yeah, this was great. I don't know. I think we covered a lot of the questions, right? I don't think there was.
I think we got all the ones that I saw.
Yeah.
Oh, does Steve have a training? So I believe it got shared on the director Facebook group a couple months ago. It didn't have any pictures. It just gave a suggestion of like how many posts a day. So
Did you say that you do theme days, Chantelle? Do you do theme days? I think that was a question.
try to put the electronics in different days. So I know like my February outline, the quick cooker kind of was like the big product that got highlighted, but I don't do a lot of special themes. All of my themes are, and this is what I did in the cooking show world, so this is kind of carried over. You know, my cooking shows were all the theme of like dinner in 20 minutes or less essentially, but that could fit almost any recipe we would put in it. So whatever recipe I wanted to run with the month, that's what I did. And I do that with the virtual parties too. Like just, it all kind of fits in that, like how do you real people feed their families with real food without like we don't ever go through the drive-through ever. Like my kids barely know what that is. So how do you do that? And that is what I've always done with parties, both virtual and cooking shows. So
Okay.
yeah, I can share the outline for the bingo, and I can share the outline for the new consultant call, the welcome call that we do. And then, yeah, I can share a lot of that's in Evernote. So we've been working on updating a lot of it to Google over this year, but I can share all my Evernote links to Marie and then she can do what she wants with them.
Okay. Or if you want to do it to me and Marie, I think we're friends.
Yeah. Yeah, that's totally fine.
I'm the one that's got to post it all in the
Okay.
in the website. So yeah.
funny, that's exactly what I was typing in. Like,
Oh, were you? Okay.
Yeah, no, I'll start a group chat with the 3 of us and put
Oh.
all those links in.
Yeah, that's perfect. Okay. Well, this was good.
Okay, awesome. Well, I'm glad I could bring something helpful.
Wait, I do have one more question. So your look and learns, if people sign, do they get taken out of the group?
No, because we want all consultants in there. So like we really
So
market.
they can add their people.
Yeah, then they're going to start inviting their people. So
Okay.
once you really get that culture shift that they signed partially because they'd been to one, they're more likely to start to add their leads because they know how much that helped them. So that'll, once you start doing a lot of these things, the new people know no different when they come in. So it'll start to take off the more people you add. And part of why they signed was because of that level of support. And they saw that we have this, really amazing group of people that loves what they're doing, and there's all the support built in. So yeah, it really can just take off, which is awesome. So
I love it. I love it. I think we had something with your 10 tips. Can you share? Oh, 10.
Yeah, I'll share those. I think I have 4 different Evernotes. I'll have to look and see how it's all broken down. But,
Okay.
yeah,
That would be great. I appreciate it. Yeah. Lots of notes, lots of playbacks, I'm sure. I think we got the recording. Yeah. So I think we're good. Anybody else have any other questions?
somebody said, do I team up with other directors for the Look and Learns? Yes, and I work with other executives, so it's all of our director pool that everybody gets a turn. And then how do we encourage the team to add their leads to the Look and Learn? So we're not doing this year, but we did something, this was my personal org, called Just Ask. And every Wednesday for years, we went live at noon with the hashtag Just Ask, and different leaders did it. And it was just a tip of like how to invite people to our Look and Learn. So it was just constantly encouraging people to invite people to join them. And we addressed everything you could think of about recruiting. So, if this is your fear, then, this is the support we offer, that kind of thing. We did prizes with that for a long time. So that we did years ago, and really to encourage our culture to shift from a just selling culture on our org to a selling and recruiting culture on our org. So we're not currently doing that, but every week we have multiple ways we challenge people to invite, like we change it up, but it might be invite 5 people to tonight's Look and Learn, and here's the word choices to use. And I think that's huge, is just to give them the word choices. So the word choices are very similar every time, but it's our team does this really fun event on Wednesday nights at 9. It's all on Facebook. There's no pressure. It's just information and fun. I'd love to have you join as my guest. And then you include the link to the Facebook group and go in and invite them to the Facebook group, so that when they click that link, it just pops up for them to accept the invite. And you'll personalize that a little bit. Like I thought of asking you because you were the rock star in Marie's party, or I thought of asking you because you were my best host of the week. But those words are just, will you join as my guest? It's all on Facebook. It's fun, no pressure, very short and sweet. So
Cool. Yeah. Thanks. Well, outstanding. I mean,
awesome. Well, I've got another call. I'm going to hop off, but have a great day, you guys.
thank you so much. I appreciate your time, Chantelle.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There's Miss Marie. Can you talk? I think we can hear
I
you.
think I can, but we are at the top of the hour, so
Okay.
just wanna, I don't know if Nancy Jo wants to end, or you, Patty?
Well, you know what, Marie, did you want to ask about for next week? Anybody that about Look and Learns? Did you want to put it out there? Is anybody?
Love for that to be a topic for next week.
Yeah, what do you guys think about Look and Learns for next week? Just because, we've got such a great promo going on. So if anybody is doing one, I would love to do that.
Yeah, and if you guys have things that you can screen share and share with us, or, as Nancy Jo says, if we all share a little, we all learn a lot and we all gain a lot. So if you could bring your best stuff, or if you have somebody that you would like to recommend, maybe that could be our topic for next Monday's meeting.
Yeah, I love that. I think that would be a really good idea.
Everybody said yes, 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 yes.
Yes, 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 yes.
Marie, we can hardly hear you. I don't know why that is, but can you hear me okay, Patty?
I can hear you good. Yeah, you're black. I don't know why you're black, but you're
it's just because, you know what, got out of the shower and had washers here and all this kind of great stuff. So needless to say, because when you live in floor to ceiling windows on the 3rd floor, you have window washers, not
There you go.
So anyway, they're inside, they're outside, so I didn't want to be disruptive.
Oh.
Anyway, I just wanted to say, you guys, gosh, Pampered Chef has given us so much this month to just soar again. And so I just want to encourage you to make lists, organize yourself, but don't go crazy trying to be too organized, but just get yourself lists down. Who do you want to call? Who do you want to communicate to? We have so many different things to call people about. I just want to let you know, on our grill, I did a beef tenderloin roast, a small roast. Oh my gosh, 3.5 minutes. It was done and it was perfect on the inside. It was just amazing. It was the small end of the beef tenderloin, but I got to tell you, it was delicious. I used the probe. We have just so many things to be excited about. New products, recruiting promotions. We have stuff for recruits. I mean, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. So you guys be excited about what you have to offer. What the world hasn't changed. People are still cooking like crazy. So so really engage, really do. They've given, in other words, they've given us all the tools. It's up to us to open the toolbox and use them. So yes.
I was going to say, who shared, maybe it was Marie, that somebody saved, with the pandemic last year, saved $10,000 because they weren't eating out. Does somebody remember that? Maybe it was on a different call. It was $10,000, but it's.
That was me, Patty, Jamie Waters, that was me.
There you go.
I have a customer, a host who has a fairly large family and a husband who is a teacher and a coach. And they just were going, and they're raising a granddaughter. So they were going nonstop. And she said it was about $10,000 that they saved last year. She loves Pampered Chef. It's amazing. I couldn't believe, I was like, wow, that's a lot of money on eating out.
Well, you figure, what is that, about $1,000 a month then? Maybe a little less than that, probably maybe $800. But that's,
that's huge. That is a really nice vacation.
That is a really nice, or a couple vacations, maybe.
Yeah,
or a European vacation, or whenever we can do that again.
Yep.
Well, she told me when she gave me those numbers that she bought a couple of higher priced items from me. And she said that her and her husband were totally fine with it because they felt like it was an investment that they're now eating at home. So it was no big deal to drop that couple $100 on what she wanted because it was feeding her family and they're not going out. So
yep.
I really work within that because my area of the world is still very shut down. We really are not going out still. So it's exciting. There's lots to work with.
Lots of opportunities. So, and also with the freezer meal, I'd like to thank Christine.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
The freezer meal workshop that she did last week. I'm going to have her do one for March 15th and then April 1st again. And so we'll have 3 of them to work with. And then we will have one a month after that. Okay. So, and someone asked about if there was going to be lots, that is it normal to have 2 soup days? You know what? Soups and stews are super popular right now, you guys. That was a favorite menu, so not necessarily, but I think people are getting away from casseroles and more into soups and stews and salads. So let's face it, when you make a salad with a protein, you're not going to need to put that in the freezer. You just need to gonna have to do it. So she's doing things that are going to be put in the freezer so that you can pull that and be ready to roll. So so when you think about 5 meals, it's not necessarily 5 meals in a row. It's 5 meals, over the next 7 to 10 days. If you're just going to do a salad with a chicken breast, there's nothing to freeze, or you know what I mean? It's just a matter of putting it all together. So anyway, I just wanted to say thank you for all you're doing, each and every one of you. you're just amazing, and you keep blowing us away with all of your energy, your ideas, and your attitudes are just amazing. So thank you so much. We've got a lot going for us. Let's roll. 1 year ago, we did not think about this, guys. 1 year ago, I went on the call with, I want to say it was around the 13th or the 15th of March. We did not know what would be happening in our world. We didn't know if this was going to crush us or let us be the same, elevate us. We had no idea what was going to happen. And yes, we went through some really tough times, but you know what? They've got it under control. So let's roll. Let's roll. So thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks.
Thank you.
I'm going to stop this recording.